I hate how like women like they'll voice their boundaries, their standards, which is cool. I'm all for that. But the minute a man says what he won't put up with, or he don't want to date this type of woman or anything like that, they like, men used to build houses back in the day. It's like, bro, like, what are y'all talking about?
You're controlling. What do you want to slave?
You can tell us what you won't tolerate, but as soon as I say something, it's a problem. Like,
and you want to know that shit. And you want to know the funny thing about that, see, Marty? It's crazy because it's like the older they get, the more their demands like heighten, and it's like the less you can really demand from a dude. You got more baggage, boo.
Mm-hmm. More kids.
That's older. The funny part.
Hold on, I want the ladies a chance.
Fuck the kid, dead.
Yeah, that's who get dead. Oh yeah,
I want the ladies to respond.
Real quick. Do any of y'all have kids?
Body fat.
Yeah. Y'all got kids? Okay.
Anybody else got kids? Just two ladies.
I have two.
There's nothing wrong with having kids. We just saying.
Yeah.
But can I ask y'all this, ladies? Do y'all acknowledge that, generally speaking, are all men? Do y'all acknowledge that men typically don't want to date women that have children already?
That's not my reality.
Okay.
Most of the men that come for me, they don't have kids. I say it right there and then. They don't care. They don't mind spending money on me. They don't mind paying for things like that. So it's just like, and also how I look at myself, I think very highly of myself because I am a very highly person. So I feel like I can talk my shit because I can back it up. So
okay.
So that's not my reality.
Talk your shit, queen.
So I'll just kind of take this, before we kind of get into the next topic, and not you guys, the others. But typically, men don't want women with children because, like Oliver said, unfortunately, it's labeled as baggage. You see, and what happens a lot of the time is I always say a man being a single father is better than a woman being a single mother. Tell you why. Because as a man, I don't expect you as a woman to pay for any of my children. You know what I'm saying? You might come
or handle my baby mom
a little bit, this, that, and the third. But you got a single mother. She gonna tell you off rip. Look, me and my daughter, we're a package deal. You're gonna be paying money. So what happens a lot of the time, you have the responsibility of another child that's not yours. Then you have zero authority.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So go ahead.
That's not really true. How I look at it is like if you're in a home with a roommate. So it's like, for instance, like you might have a day that your roommate may need a ride home type stuff, like just like school, like, hey, can you take them to school one day? Not saying that anybody took them to school yet, because sure. I haven't introduced nobody to my child
hypothetically.
Yet. But hypothetically, like, so if you're living with somebody, y'all all kind of like have to work together, no matter if there's your roommate, if you're living with family. If y'all living under one household, automatically that's the thing.
I get what you're saying though, but here's the issue though. Like I said, you're not going to mess with a dude that won't do for your son. That's my point.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, might not be off the rip, but eventually you're gonna look for that.
But I don't expect you to be his dad. He got a dad. Like I expect you to respect each other.
And I'm gonna tell you why that's kind of worse. It's actually would be better if you did want to kind of be. I mean, you can't replace his father, but hear me all the way out, please. What happens is that just coming from the guy's perspective, he takes the responsibility on of the child. Here's usually where the problem occurs. And like I said, I've dated single mothers. This is where the issue occurs. One, they don't have control over baby daddy. Like that's a huge thing right there. If baby daddy's not dead or incarcerated, listen, I'm not saying that's your reality. I'm just saying the majority, usually, baby fathers out here, they like, hey, I don't want another man around my son, ABCD. Cool, no worries. Let's say you break up with the mom. You have a relationship with the kid. You have no rights to that fucking kid. No, the money and all that. But it's just you spend time with the kid. You have a bond with the kid. You have no rights to that kid, and that hurts the man just as much as it hurts. You know what I'm saying?
She shouldn't have done that.
Well,
don't introduce your kids to men unless you're about to get married.
Great, but the reality is people do, and
it's not good.
Listen. I'm not saying. Listen, we're speaking on reality. It's not about what's right or what's wrong. It's just this is what happens a lot of the time.
Can I chime in real quick?
Go ahead.
I don't know if you have sons or you have a son. So I grew up with a single mom. She actually remarried. And son's growing up with the stepdad.
I was just about to say that.
There's
a difference.
He's going to have to be like the father, and there's going to have to be a level of respect because as the son is growing up, if it's something going on with mom or if there's an issue with him and the stepdad, it's going to clash as the boy is getting older. So
that's a fact.
And let me just tell you, and I'm gonna let you go.
That's a fact.
Let me just tell you that too. Here's the thing: people may call me crazy or whatever, but for me, a single mom with one. That's not a deal breaker for me. Now you're redlining it, but that's not necessarily a deal breaker. But I did say this: if she has a son, I just can't do it because of what you just said. No, I'm serious. Just because of what you just said. Because if they have a son, as they get older, things with men tend to sometimes get physical, and a lot of the time the mom doesn't it's a hard line to take because some moms are like, nah, hey, do what you got to do. But the other mom's like, well, that's my son. And, you know, But at the end of the day, if it's my biological son, smack shit out of him. And it's like, it's cool.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, ladies. And I'm not saying that this is y'all's
Real
situation.
quick, and you go ahead.
I'm not saying it's y'all's situation in general.
Like I said, I don't introduce men to my child.
You don't. Most men
But
do.
if we're courting and you're like, hey, I want to move, I want to take this seriously, let's get married. Even if you did say that to me, I want to wait 6 months. I want you to meet my family, make sure we get that. If we haven't hit those milestones, then you're not meeting my son. I'm saying like you need to have a plan when you're a parent, man or woman. So like I said, I don't think that was the right way. Hey, who am I to judge? But
nah, judge. Fuck that. Judge. It's shot illusion, baby.
But like I said, like
But I want to.
But like I said, we understand that for you, but most people don't think like that.
Hold on. Let the shake go. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So I guess what I was gonna say is that the reality of it is that dating whomever comes with all different types of challenges. Whether it's dating someone with a child,
Someone dating younger is less baggage.
I guess you know.
No, it's true.
Go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, dating whomever, it comes with all different types of challenges. So I haven't really jumped out there in the dating world where I've dated someone after my kid's father. I have 2 kids, one father. And so for me, I can't even fathom, like, I don't want nobody else to be their father. Like, they got a father. Like, I'm not even worried about that for real. If I'm thinking about dating someone, I'm just thinking about me and that person. I haven't even gotten to the point where I'm thinking about the whole as a family. Like, it would have to be real serious before I think about that.
But in general, we understand that. We know how you guys feel, but in general, most ladies are not as competent. They're not thinking in terms of milestones. And let's be honest, a lot of these hoes ain't anything about marriage. They're just trying to get a quickie. But the whole point about it is,
I don't date women, so I don't know.
Listen, we speaking in general here, not just my experience, we're speaking in general from what we hear from most guys. We coach men, we understand how this works. So, but a lot of the time we're just saying that the guy is taking on a lot of burden because you do have to protect. Now, at the same time, if he chooses to accept it and he knows it, that's on him. But like I said, we usually tell guys, hey man, bow out of single mothers unless you really know what you're doing.